How's it going, everyone? It's me, Vivi, and welcome back to some more Sly Cooper. No, we don't have news on the Sly Cooper TV show. No, we don't have news on Sly Cooper 5. Sly Cooper 5 at the moment is something that remains in our dreams. Let's keep that in mind. Don't forget, we've literally reached a point where people are starting to dream about Sly 5 and its release date. Anyways, that's not the point. Now for the topic of this video, is Sly Cooper a hero, anti-hero, or vigilante? I really hope you guys enjoy this one because it's going to be pretty interesting, I find. Now before I get into anything, how did I decide to cover topics such as this? Well, I first created a poll on Twitter like a couple of days ago. There's a bunch of mixed feelings, and I'm quite surprised. Almost all options split into 3 pretty much, and I made this poll on purpose to see how fans always portrayed Sly Cooper, the main protagonist. 173 votes, thank you all who participated, that's pretty cool. Vigilante comes in first place, 39%, Hero comes in 6% shy, and then we got Antihero at 28%. And I'm quite surprised that 33% of you guys voted for Hero. I was expecting the majority to vote for Vigilante, but I also understand why you guys went with the other options. That is exactly why I decided to make this video, to try and understand Sly Cooper, to try and define the terms hero, anti-hero, and vigilante. So the way I'm gonna go at this, we're gonna try and define the terms, go over definitions individually, and compare them to Sly's personality and the way he thinks. So with that being said, let's get started. What is a hero? Now this one is going to take a big part of the video, I think. Hero is a pretty huge term, and I already do not imagine Sly as a hero. So, according to a basic online dictionary, the term hero is defined in 3 ways. A person who is admired or idealized for courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. The chief male. Now, the terms hero and heroine are pretty much interchangeable. Hero can be used for both male and female these days, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, character in a book, play, or movie who is typically identified with good qualities, and with whom the reader is expected to sympathize. In mythology and folklore, a person of superhuman qualities and often semi-divine origin, in particular one of those whose exploits and dealings with the gods were the subject of ancient Greek myths and legends. First, which definition to go with when it comes to Sly Cooper? None of them really apply to this character. Okay, if you want, maybe a few terms from each definition mixed together does fit Sly's criteria, but one definition in particular does not. As for number 3, that doesn't sound like Sly Cooper. Well, if you want to go with the folklore part, it's a video game character we're talking about. What he does or stuff that happens in-game are sometimes defined as game logic. Whatever's applied in video games do not necessarily apply in real life. In other words, what you see in video games, how a situation is handled, it's not the most realistic approach. You might imagine, does this apply in real life? This doesn't look realistic. I'm pretty sure you've had that reaction when playing video games. Alright, Sly doesn't have superpowers. Superpowers don't always define a character when it comes to being a hero. While Sly can become invisible and walk on lasers, okay, which to me sounds weird. Invisibility, well, there's dark magic in the series. I'll let that one slip. But still, I don't know, a part of me is like, what? The general nature of Sly's character itself doesn't seem to fit the superhuman criteria, so cross that one out of the list. As for the other definitions, they're all about admiration and good qualities. Okay, good qualities. Sly loves his friends, loves Carmelita, he doesn't hurt anyone unless he has to. Clockwork being the prime example. Sly's not a killer. Okay, they killed a bunch of guards, but that right there is Sly Cooper logic. Video game logic. As I said, does Sly Cooper follow all the rules? No. He for sure breaks them. Carmelita chasing after his tail is pretty much explanatory. An officer of the law running after a thief who steals. Would society define Sly as an honorable guy? Probably not. Except for those who he'd save. As Carmelita always says, we fight justice from opposite sides of the law. She knows that Sly doesn't follow the law. how society is supposed to follow it. Sly doesn't follow the rules society has to go by, but he goes after criminals, thieves. Sly's definition of honor is to steal from other thieves. That's their family honor, their code. If they steal from regular people, there's no honor. Someone shared on Twitter, well, replied to the poll, which is pretty interesting, and gives us a quick little summary of Sly's character. User TJ2 Gaming. Thank you. I'd say Vigilante. He steals things from bad guys that aren't even something he needed to steal. It's just for personal gain. I say Vigilante because of Sly 1, but he's really a self-serving guy. A bit like Nathan Drake, except Drake never stole from the living. Now the Vigilante part, I will dive into that later on in the video. This right here, guys, is a pretty good summary of Sly's character. Who he is. Self-satisfaction or self-serving. That's his quality. Stopping criminals whom he thinks he's trouble to him and his family and friends. Sly Cooper has this circle and always remains in that circle. There's no intention to start going after random criminals. There's Interpol for that. Carmelita. I think what you guys mean by hero is pretty straightforward. Oh, Sly stopping villains. He's a hero. Sly stopped Clockwork, the Claw Gang, and members who weren't really working together in Sly 3. Sly 4, we had Le Paradox. He hired a bunch of people, made fake promises, all that kind of stuff. The Paradox was messing with the timeline, messing with Sly's family. Now, did those people really cause danger to civilians? Maybe. The Claw Gang being the greatest example. Remember how Dimitri had the crowd consume the spice? He was pretty much disrupting their lives at that point. When Arpeggio wanted immortality, do you think he would have killed innocent people? No, unless they stood in his way. Arpeggio just didn't seem like the type of person who would just go on a killing spree, even if he was immortal. Maybe he'd go after the people who annoyed him as a kid. Sly 3 felt like an adventure. Now that one is slightly different. Those criminals in that game did not work together. Did they cause trouble to Sly only? No. Yes, they did cause trouble, but it didn't really affect Sly's family. Comparing it to Sly 1 and Sly 2, the whole situation with the Fiendish Five, who stole pages out of the book, the Claw Gang, the whole Clockwork scheme, Sly was afraid. He knew that Clockwork was this huge threat to his family. Although not much is known of Clockwork's origin, did he take innocent lives? This one time in the comments, someone said that Clockwork apparently wanted, I don't remember, was it chocolate ice cream? Apparently he wasn't happy and he killed the person who mistook his order. But the most important thing right now is, he was a danger to Sly's family, the most. And Interpol, of course, tried going after Clockwork, that's for sure, thinking that he's a danger to society. Now why did Sly go after the villains in the third game if they weren't bothering his family's legacy? Don Octavio, for example. Sly knew that Murray was sent to Venice. He said, I could make things right with Murray if I try to stop Don Octavio. The Cooper Vault. That's what it is. The Cooper Vault. Sly 3, it's all about recruitment. And in the process, they of course had to take care of some anomalies. The Panda King, for example, a deal was made. Okay, there was a reason for that. But the main goal was to enter the vault. If it weren't for the Cooper Vault, would Sly just like save the day randomly? No, what is he gonna get in exchange? Is there personal gain by doing that? No. One exception to this is comic issue number 1. Sly stopping the jewel thief for Carmelita. He did that for a personal gain. Affection, because he loves Carmelita. Conclusion, hero does not fit Sly in my opinion. Yes, he's a nice guy, cares about his friends, loves Carmelita, doesn't cause danger to civilians, society, but he lacks. So no, a hero usually is very well known to the public. Not fully, if in disguise, then that's the case. And they're known at least for their heroic ways. Sly always remains hidden in the shadows. It's not like the public is always talking about, oh, this mysterious figure saves the day. Not really. No one suspected Sly in Sly 4 due to Thaddeus' skill of disguise if you want to keep it short. Sly 1, the newspaper when stopping Raleigh. Carmelita saves the day. Mysterious figure once again eludes authorities. They don't know it's Sly Cooper. Sly remains in the shadows. No intention of being known to a mass audience. If society accepted Sly, do you think Carmelita would have told Sly you're an agent when he was faking his amnesia? No. She told him you're an agent to avoid public backlash. An agent of Interpol working with the thief? Nope, that doesn't work in my book. She covered his tracks for him. She knew who he was. She loved him. But people didn't really know Sly Cooper. They only knew him as this figure in the shadows. Since Carmelita was in love with Sly, she thought of making him an agent to work closely with him. But then slowly in Sly 4 she realized that Sly is Sly. She was having these doubts. The way Sly started afraid to act in Sly for. She didn't want to admit to herself that he was going back to his old habits. She didn't want that deep down. But really, a side of her knew that Sly would eventually go back to his old habits. So is Sly Cooper a hero? No, in my opinion. Next, what's an anti-hero? This one's gonna be pretty short. A straightforward definition. A central character in a story, movie, or drama who lacks conventional heroic attributes. Sly does have heroic attributes, to some extent, but not the conventional one. He stops criminals who he thinks are deemed worthy towards his satisfaction. Does a conventional hero rob museums? A statue? A bar of chocolate worth a lot? No. Is he rescuing people from danger by stealing those items? No. A true hero would not disrupt society's way of portraying a hero. He's a nice guy, very caring, would do anything for his friends and him. Sly can easily become a hero if he wanted to, but like I said, he remains in the shadows, and it doesn't really seem to be willing to be open to the public. Hey, I'm Sly Cooper and I stop criminals. I will help those in danger. No, just the fact that he steals stuff that doesn't belong to him and that don't really affect society or help people, and don't forget he doesn't follow the rules, he doesn't really have the usual heroic attributes. In a way, we can say Antihero is getting closer to Sly's nature. And this brings me to Vigilante, which I think a lot of people will agree with. What is a vigilante? A member of a self-appointed group of citizens who undertake law enforcement in their community without legal authority, typically because the legal agencies are thought to be inadequate. Bingo, ladies and gentlemen, we got a winner. Keywords: self-appointed group of citizens, aka him and his gang. They do not have legal authority, always communicating through binoculars, sneaking around. They think the actions they do respect their own mindset. They make their own rules of the law. They think legal agencies such as Interpol are not only inadequate, but simply stand in their way. Sly stops criminals who he thinks need to be stopped, but he does not commit murder, Clockwork being the exception. As for Dr. M, he put that on himself. Sly did try and talk him out of it, but no, he was a fool who just lost his life in the process. Sly, compared to the Green Arrow, the TV series, let's say, the Green Arrow, he kills. If he has to, he's gonna do it. As for Sly, he doesn't really kill. He just captures them and makes sure that Carmelita arrests them. The whole Cooper honor situation pretty much states that you have to bring justice in a way which follows their family code. Nowhere does it state to steal from other thieves to help save the world. Now, Sly stopping criminals, his circle of criminals, sure, it does make the world a better place. Less criminals, the better. But Sly still lacks heroic attributes. He just doesn't seem to be the type of hero who'd go after minor criminals unless it involves his family's legacy or self-gain. So with that being said, this is it for the video. So guys, in the comment section below, do you agree or disagree that Sly Cooper is a vigilante? If not, explain why. Go ahead and use certain examples, situations from the series. I'm sure there's plenty. And one thing I forgot to mention about the part where Sly remains hidden to the public, the gang did have breaks, but knowing Sly and how they sneak around all the time, I'm pretty sure they left it low-key. I mean, an example of being in front of an audience is the episode with Penelope when they won the races. They were in front of a crowd, but the majority of the time they keep everything low-key, especially Paris. So you see what I mean? With these scenarios, you can use them and try to prove your own point. But overall, Sly's nature, to me, he looks like a vigilante. So I said enough, so yep, as always, I've been Vivi and thank you for watching.